CEO and board members of Palm 613. My name is Brianna Walker, and I am a communication strategic student at the Queen's University of Charlotte. I am sharing with you an important presentation on championing crisis communication. What happens when you've addressed a crisis, you feel as if you've closed the crisis and moved ahead with your agenda? However, there are individuals and groups that are still concerned with that crisis and they continue to bring the crisis to light. How can you continue to share your relevant and current stories and narratives with your targeted audiences when there are groups that are utilizing previous incidents from your past to try to alter your current vision and mission? You will utilize Peter Berger's theory of narrative analysis to solve this issue.
I chose Chris Brown's interview with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America that took place March 22nd, 2011 to illustrate this communication crisis of combating narratives that may become present, that you feel as if that narrative should be closed. On this particular day, both Robin Roberts and Chris Brown had individual agendas. Chris Brown wanted to promote his upcoming album Fame, but Robin Roberts felt the need to ask questions about Chris's incident with his then girlfriend Rihanna in 2009. It's important here to note that both individuals have a message that they want to get out to an audience, and both of these individuals share control in this conversation. However, Chris Brown is the one in the hot seat. Robin Roberts is simply doing her job, but Chris Brown has a brand to sustain. He has an album to promote. He's also trying to show that he has moved away from the Rihanna incident. He is trying to express that. And we will assess as individuals and organizations, how can we position our stories to reach our target audience when our audience may or may not be faced with alternative stories. Applying Peter Berger's narrative analysis, we have a current narrative that is Chris Brown wanting to promote his new album Fame, and the past narrative of him assaulting his girlfriend Rihanna in 2009. Chris Brown and his team were not prepared to answer questions about the Rihanna incident, and it's apparent to me that they did not understand that this story was still a dominant narrative 2 years later. Observation. So, after the incident has occurred, 2 years have passed, what are the entities that could continue the conversation on this Chris Brown and Rihanna incident? We have social media, we have blogs, we have women's groups who are passionate about women's rights and the safety of women and women separating themselves from individuals and entities that don't agree with that agenda. And again, it was obvious that Chris Brown could not acknowledge and accept the fact that his assault case from 2 years ago was still dominant. The story was still strong. It still had a presence. It doesn't mean that he couldn't share the information about his album and still promote this new narrative, but he did need to acknowledge the presence of the Rihanna incident. Major themes that were present in this situation were unforgiveness. Some people could not forgive Chris Brown for what he did. There was a lot of anger from people who saw that his fan base had continued to grow, or fans were starting to turn towards him. That they were forgiving him. They wanted him to be hated. Women's groups were encouraging people to not buy his albums, to not support him. Once a woman beater, always a woman beater. They were obsessed with this, and they were really passionate about obstructing him from being able to create a new narrative for himself, obstructing him from being able to have a fresh start. And again, I think that Chris Brown, he was oblivious to these themes. Therefore, he wasn't prepared at all to communicate in a way that shared his presence, being in the moment, while also being able to say, yes, these are some of the things from the past, but hey, here are some of the things that I'm doing right now, and these past experiences actually help me to get to where I am. That's just a positive assessment or application on the situation that really could have helped him, and that in a business situation can also help you in being prepared and understanding what is being said about your organization in the marketplace. Applying motifs to these 5 themes, we see that Chris Brown really could have benefited from the debunking motif, understanding that women's rights groups do not need to be underestimated, that their message doesn't need to be cast aside, their agendas needed to be recognized, and he needed to, from a revitalization standpoint, see the story from their side. Not saying that he or you as an organization needs to succumb to what other people are saying about you, but see their perspective and use that perspective to your advantage in promoting your own message by being prepared and also applying the cosmopolitan motif, openness to action and thinking of others. That way, everything that comes to you, you are prepared, you are confident, you are strong in your position in being able to share your own story. You can put a positive spin on whatever is thrown at you by conducting your research, understanding what people are saying about you, understanding their position, and then in turn being able to promote your own mission, value, and narratives of that current space and time. Future strategy. I will say this quote really fast from our theorist Berger. We always try to understand what we have experienced and what is happening around us, and this process never ends and is never complete. Chris Brown must understand that his story will never be complete. It's a full circle story. His team must research what is going on in the social media and digital environment. They must accept what is being said, plan and practice, support others through certain communicative practices, show humanity, show their progressive work, show that you're always progressing and moving forward. And he could have also illustrated how the progressive work is reflected in his new music. That would have been a positive spin on a negative situation if he was able to continue, even 2 years later, show how being proactive and being progressive helped him as an artist, and this situation was not who he was currently.
The key takeaway that I hope you all have learned from this presentation is research and preparation. Your research cannot be focused solely on your own narrative. When coming in a situation where you're not only telling your story, but you're also going to be asked questions, you need to be prepared for the questions that may be asked of you. And a great way to be prepared is to research what people are saying, especially in our digital realm, to see what conversations are going on. It will help you be more comfortable with being in front of the interviewer, with taking questions, and remaining composed when faced with a question you may not have expected to answer, but you're going to be equipped, you're going to be strong, and you're going to have the disposition that you need to communicate a response to the questions, and as always, keep your narrative in the forefront in a positive manner. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I look forward to your questions and your comments.